Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We'll just wait for a couple of minutes till everyone joins.
I think we'll wait for another maybe 30 seconds, Alisha, and we'll start. Okay. I think we'll start, Alisha. We have about 12 attendees, and I think it's minutes past 6, so I think we'll get going now.
Yes.
So hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Red Pen webinar on college essays. My name is Vijay Lakshmi Rajan. I'm a senior associate and content specialist at the Red Pen. I work out of Mumbai, and today with me is my colleague Alisha. Alisha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Elisha. I've been working at the Red Pen for over 2 cycles now, working on essays from different universities all over the world, be it Singapore, Dubai, US, UK, of course. So we're really happy to be on this webinar, and I'll let Viji take over now.
Thank you, Alisha. Can we have the next slide? So before we start on the essays, a quick intro to the Red Pen. As you may already know, we are a global educational counseling firm, and we've been in this domain for almost 11 to 12 years. Over the years, our students have got admits to to universities in more than 25 plus countries. And more than $65 million in scholarship and counting. These are some of our admits for fall 2024. As you can see, some of the best universities in the world from across the world. These have been the admits of our students this year. And Alisha, next slide. Okay, so we'll launch straight because we just have about an hour, and Alisha, I want to really cover a lot of ground on the essays. So today we are really going to focus on a bit in depth into the US college essays, the UK essays, Canada essays, India essays. Along the way, we also hope to share some tips and guidelines on how to write your essays. Okay, so as far as the essays are concerned, we call them a very critical component of your application, right? As you know, your application has several components, from your transcripts to your resume to your activities to the letters of recommendation that will go from your counselor and from your teachers. But essays are a super important component. And why do we say it's a very important component? Because we believe that it is your voice, right? Now, while your transcripts, etc., do tell their own story about you, but what you write in your essays, what you write about yourself, about your accomplishments, about certain qualities that you have, that is you speaking directly to the admissions officers and telling them something about yourself, and what are some of your values, and what are some of the what have been some of the events that have kind of shaped the person that you are today. Okay. Next slide. Now, of course, as you approach the application process, you may know that every country has its own set of requirements. Of course, US has got the most complex set of essays, because you're not going to write just one essay, you're going to write several essays for your US application. UK and Singapore have one person statement. Canada has got university specific and program specific essays. Netherlands has a motivation letter, and India, now, Indian liberal arts colleges like your Ashoka, Flame, Kriya, etc., have their own essays. On top of that, you'll also be writing an on-the-spot essay, which Alisha will take you through later. Okay, now we'll kind of deal a bit in depth. We'll go deep dive a bit into the US college essays. Next slide. Okay, so the US college essays, like I said, have a more complex set of requirements. Depending on the college that you select, that you're applying to, there's going to be a lot of writing. I just hope you like to write, that you also like to do a little bit of reflective writing, and some amount of academic writing also. Of course, not all colleges have, but most of the colleges, for instance, like Stanford has about 8 essays. UPenn has 2 to 4 essays, and Northeastern has none. So if you look at the essays, what we have done is we have categorized them into 2 buckets. So one is your Common App essay, and the other is your supplementary essays. Okay. Now this by essay that you can see on the screen, that also comes as part, that also falls under the supplementary essays. Okay. So basically 2 categories, Common App essay and the supplementary essays. We'll of course go a bit in depth into each of those. Now, what is a Common App essay? Now, the Common App essay, now most colleges that you're applying to in the US, I think about almost 90% of the colleges that you're applying to in the US is on the Common App platform. Okay, so that Common App platform has got one central essay called the Common App essay, and it's a 650-word essay. And that essay goes to all the colleges that you apply to on the Common App platform. And it's a reflective essay. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. The other set of essays are the supplementary essays, which have all your, why college, why major, which community do you belong to, which are called the college-specific essays. Okay, those are the 2 buckets of essays that you will write. Now, before I launch into the Common App essay, just a little bit of statistic which could shock you, which is that in a conversation with the admissions officer, South Asia admissions officer, AO is admissions officer of University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League university. They have told us in a conversation that the amount of time that they spend on essays, which is inclusive of the Common App essay and the college-specific, UPenn-specific essays, is a grand total of 90 seconds. Okay, now 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. It's a bit shocking when you think about it, and you wonder how are they going to read all these essays in 90 seconds. Does this mean that the essays are not important? Actually, what it means is that you just have 90 seconds to grab the attention of the admissions officers and to make your point, to make an impact through your essay. Okay, so which means that these essays are super important, and they have to be really, really impactful and really grab the attention of the admissions officers. Okay, so now the Common App essay, now the Common App platform gives you 7 essay prompts. Now, what are prompts? Prompts are these, which are basically topics that you can choose to write on. As you can see, there are 7. Now, the last one, which is share an essay on any topic of your choice, is what we call the Joker prompt, okay? Which is like the Joker in the pack of cards, right? You can use it to write anything. The rest of the prompts, as you can see, are about your background. It could be about challenges you faced. It could be about an accomplishment, event, realization about yourself. It could be about a topic which really, really interests you and you find it very engaging. So they've given you a range of topics that you can write on. And please trust me, you will find a prompt to match your story. And let's say you do not get a prompt to match your story, you can make your own prompt as per the last as per the last prompt. Okay. Yeah. So now coming to the Common App essay, okay, let's spend a bit of time on the Common App essay because it is a very important essay that you will be writing. Alesha, can I have the rest of the slide on this? When it comes to Common App essay, many of the students have asked us in the past, can I just write about all that I have done, right? About all the activities I've done, which we call your accomplishments, your achievements, your activities, right? It could be that maybe you've been part of a, robotics club, or you have participated in first robotics, first robotics competition, or maybe you started your captain of your football team in your school football team, or maybe you're captain of the basketball team. Okay, so students often ask us, can I write about that, because it means so much to me, right? Now our answer to that is that all these activities which are listed, all the accomplishments, will get covered in the Common App form, in terms of through your activities, and maybe through your LORs and all of that, right? Now, we don't want you to use those activities and just list down those activities in your essay, because this is one chance for you to speak about something which is very unique to you. It's a chance for you to speak about certain qualities and characteristics of you that you want the admissions officers to know. So yes, you can mention being the soccer captain, or being a basketball player, school team player. You can write about all that, but you can't just write about the activity and leave it at that. The idea is to show through that activity, or through that particular extracurricular, that what are some of the qualities that you have kind of honed, right? For instance, you want the admissions officers to know about know that perhaps that you're a compassionate problem solver, or that you used to be very meek, but now you learn to speak up for yourself, right? So these are the kind of characteristics that you want the admissions officers to know about you through your Common App essay. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so to make it easier for our students, what we have done is we ask students two questions. After we've done the brainstorming with them, we have shortlisted the topics. We ask them two questions. What happened? What is it that you're trying to tell? What is the story that you want to tell about yourself, right? And then the second is, why does it matter? Why should the admissions officer know this about you, right? What is it? What are those characteristics? What are the qualities about you that they are learning, that they're going to learn about you from this essay, from the story that you're telling them? Okay, so let me illustrate that. So example one, what happened? Okay, this is a student telling the story. I started the first ever LGBTQ plus society in my school. I did this because I was bullied in my previous school. So I decided to change schools and help students who were being bullied like I was, right? It's a good story. Now, why does it matter? It shows that I am a problem solver and I care about the well-being of other people, right? So you don't stop at just saying I started the society or this club in my school. I did it because of this, and I want to help others who are in a similar situation. So what does it say about me? It says that I'm a problem solver. I'm an empathetic, compassionate person who wants to help others, right? Example two, what happened? While canvassing for SNAP, I was concerned that I would unfairly judge someone or offend them by giving them information about food stamps. This caused me to freeze up, but when I stopped worrying, I was able to hand out the information. Now, why does it matter? Because it shows that when I encounter moments that challenge and confuse me, I'm able to understand why I'm uncomfortable, come up with and execute a solution, and learn from it, right? It shows that when I face any kind of obstacles, minor, major, I don't pause and give up. I try to work around it, and I try to go forward, and I learn from that. Okay. Next slide. Okay, before I tackle the supplementary essay prompts, there's one thing that I want to tell you about the Common App. I'm sorry, can we go back to the last slide, Alisha? So the Common App essay, often we are asked by students, Can I write about challenges? Can I write about certain challenges I've faced? That's a very common question. Our answer to that is, if there's been a challenge which has really kind of impacted you or led to your shape the person that you are today, by all means write about it. It's perfectly okay. But you should never stop with just talking about a challenge. You have to also show your own growth from that. What have been your takeaways? What have you learned from those challenges, right? So that is very, very important. And second question we get very often from our students is, can I write about what happened during the pandemic? Yes, the pandemic was a very trying period for all of us, especially for the students. But today it's over and done. So as much as possible, let's not hark back to the pandemic and write about that. Unless something that happened 2-3 years back is still having an impact or still having a big impact on you or has shaped the things that you're doing today, then by all means, yes, please do go ahead. But make it a story of growth. Make it a story of realization and learning. Okay. Okay. So that is as far as the Common App essay goes. We can go into the supplementary essays now. Now, the supplementary essays are very, very important again, because the kind of essays that the colleges like to ask about are like 3 to 4 types, and we will deal with some of those now. So one is what we call the why college essays. Now, why essays? So why essay could be, why do you want to apply to XYZ university, right? Or it could be, why do you want to study the major that you're applying to? Or it could be a combined question. Why do you want to study this major at our university? And what are your goals with that? Okay. So the most important thing that you can do with this is research, right? Because if you just write, if they say, why do you want to come to, if Tufts asks you, why do you want to come to Tufts? Or BU asks you that, right? If you just write general stuff like, oh, I love Boston, I like the learning environment, and I've heard that Boston is a great university. They know all of that. They don't need the student to tell them that, right? So what they really expect and what they really respect, and what they really value is when you do the research. And what do I mean by research? Basically, first, your first port of call will be the website. For instance, if it's BU, you go to the BU website. First of all, you do a general kind of reading up of all that is there, like the mission and vision statement. Then you look at their what are the values and ethos of the university. Then most important, you will look at their at the particular major that you're applying to. You look at their website. Within the college website, most of these majors that you're applying to, for instance, if you're applying to say economics, they'll have their own website. You will have to go to that website, look at really deep dive into the website in terms of the curriculum. What kind of what are all the course offerings over the next 3 to 4 years? What is their faculty like? In fact, we encourage our students to go deep into the faculty page. Literally click on each faculty's bio CV, which is always given on the university websites. Check out what is the kind of research work they have done, what are their areas of specialization. And the reason we do that is, let's say a faculty has done some work in developmental economics. Maybe they have studied a certain scheme in, say, Mexico. Okay, maybe it is the socio-economic impact of education, or something, or primary school education, say, in some remote part of Mexico or something, right? Now, let's say that you have done something similar, as your extracurriculars. Maybe you've been involved with an NGO. You've taught students at a local school, or you have taught students of some underserved communities. Maybe you taught them English and basic English and math. So all that will also kind of, you will be able to connect that with what you have done with what that particular professor, for instance, has done in the area of education, or socioeconomic condition of people in terms of education or whatever. I'm just giving an example to show that deep diving into the faculty CVs, deep diving into the research that's happening at the department, deep diving into their newsletters, if they have any speaker series. And then, of course, you look at all the student clubs and organizations, what is campus life, all this is given very well in most of the college websites. So when you look at all that, you get an idea of what this university is about, what is the ethos, what are the values, and this is the kind of research and work that's happening in this particular economics department. And this is how this university is such a good fit for me, and I am such a good fit for this university. Now, when universities see that, when they see that you have taken the trouble to really do the research, and you have gone through their curriculum, you've gone through all the offerings, and you also managed to connect some of that with your own experiences or what you have studied, maybe some research that you have done, then they really, it's a big moment of this thing for them, that yes, this student is really invested in coming to our university, and they have done their due diligence, and that really makes the universities very happy. Okay, so research is the topmost thing that you can do when it comes to the why essay prompts. Okay, next slide. Okay. The next one is another very popular prompt is describe your favorite extracurricular activity. Okay. Now, for instance, Brown University in last cycle had asked describe your most meaningful extracurricular commitment. It was just a 100-word prompt and the 100-word essay. Harvard University asked briefly describe any of your extracurricular activities, employment experience, travel or family responsibilities that have shaped who you are. It was a 200-word essay. Now, our advice is always, not to just stop with explain to kind of stop with just describing the activity. Instead of just saying, I am part of the football team, and we won many kind of tournaments, and even at the district and state level and all of that. Go one step further, even if you have just 100 words. Go one step further, two steps further, and describe how they've shaped you. Why is it important? Why is this activity the most important extracurricular that you're proud of, right? Why was it impactful for you? What are some of the things, takeaways from this activity? What did it help you to understand or to learn about yourself, right? Is it about team collaboration skills? Is it about sometimes putting the team in, for instance, if you're part of the soccer team, for instance, is it about putting the team before yourself, right? Or sometimes, learning from your failures. Maybe, some penalty shootout didn't go well, or maybe you are responsible for that. So did you just step back and say, I'm done with this? Or did you learn from that? And did you kind of work harder with your teammates? So these are the kind of things, reflections that these colleges, whether it's a 50-word, 100-word, or 200-word essay, they expect you to reflect on that activity and tell them why this means so much to you. Okay. The next one. Okay. This is a very nice visual, but let it not distract you too much. This is what we call a very popular prompt with most of our US colleges, which is called the community essay. So let me first, kind of dive into these two examples because they're very good examples. I'll go with the second one first, which is a UMich, University of Michigan, a highly selective university, as you may know. One of the questions was, everyone belongs to many different communities, shared geography, religion, ethnicity, etc. Choose one of the communities to which you belong and describe the community and your place within it. It's a 300-word essay, which is a good word count. Now, this is a very straightforward community essay. You can, of course, write about your ethnicity, or, for instance, if you belong to the Jain community, and that has kind of shaped your perspectives in many ways, you can write about that. You can write about any other, it doesn't only have to be ethnic, etc. You can write about maybe you've been part of some online carom club, or online, Scrabble club, or online, or maybe you're part of some carom club where you go every, weekend and play with others, or maybe you're part of some Lego club. Okay. So you basically will write about that, and you will describe what the community is, what it means to you, and your place in it. Straightforward, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Now look at the first one, the Batson one, right? A defining element of the Batson experience is learning and thriving in an equitable and inclusive community with a wide range of perspectives and interests. Now, please share something about your background or lived experiences that speaks to how you will contribute to and learn from Babson's collaborative community. It's a 250-word essay, right? This is from the last cycle. Now here, it's not a straightforward community essay, right? They're not just saying, talk about a community that you belong to and tell us why that's important to you or your place within it. They have given you the what do you say, what matters to them. They have said that we are a equitable and inclusive community. So you tell us how your experiences, how you coming here is going to strengthen that aspect of our college community. Okay, so now here you can't just speak about any community and say, oh, I'm just part of this community, and and just stop with that. You have to match the prompt, which brings me to also a very important point, which is please read every prompt, even if it's a community prompt. The way they ask it, it differs from college to college. So there will be different things that you will have to emphasize on. So here, for instance, if you have started, say, a science club in school, right? I'm just giving you an example. And you have ensured that people from different genders and different interests and backgrounds join the community, join the club, because you want it to be a very broad-based club, right? When you have done that and you write about that, you are kind of directly speaking to the this part of the prompt where it says inclusive, equitable, and inclusive community. So you can say that I have already done this in my high school, and this is the kind of experiences I've had, how I have, kind of encouraged everyone to be part of it, because I genuinely believe in that inclusivity, etc. And then you're directly answering the prompt that Baxen is asking, and you're convincing them that you are the right fit for them. Okay, so this is as far as a community essay goes. The next slide. Yeah. This is just an example of a community neighborhood essay. This is from an actual student's essay. Just to give you a flavor of the introduction and conclusion. Introduction is, there's a seaside promenade near my home in Mumbai suburb Bandra, where hours pass in minutes. On warm evenings, this promenade comes alive with teenagers strumming the guitars, senior citizens sipping masala chai while loudly discussing politics, and vendors selling piping hot spicy corn and ice cream. Except when the monsoon rains pelt down, I walk down this promenade with my friends, greeting the regulars and enjoying the breeze. Conclusion: the student wrote about this, and then they went on to talk about, how they kind of how their daily interactions in their community, in their neighborhood. Then they concluded by saying, my upbringing in this neighborhood has taught me strong values. I learned to respect others no matter where they come from. My parents' tough love honed skills like patience and resilience, which helped me perform well at platforms like MUN. Now, basically, it's a very simple topic, which also brings me to another very important point, which is that your essay, Common App essay, doesn't have to be something very profound, right? It can be something very simple. It can be like how this boy has described his day in the, in his neighborhood, and how his life in the neighborhood, how, what, the kind of people he's met there, and what it kind of fostered, what are the qualities, what did it teach him, how did it help him grow. So it can be something as simple as that, and yet be a good essay. Okay. So it doesn't matter how the topic really doesn't matter, as long as you're able to show what is the story that you want to tell, and why does it matter? Why should the admissions officer know that story about you? Okay. Okay. This brings me to the last, I think the last of the essay topics for US, which is the quirky essay topics, and the king of quirky essay topics is the University of Chicago. What they do is they get their past students to come up with topics every cycle. So 7 to 8 really quirky topics, and we love them. But they're also very tricky. Let's just go through a couple of them. So if you see in the bottom row, the extreme left, the yellow box, where have all the flowers gone? Pick a question from a song, title, or lyric, and give it your best answer. This is, I think, from the last cycle. So where have all the flowers gone, right? So this is, okay, then let's also look at one more, which is extreme right, the bottom row, which is also from a U Chicago essay prompt. Vlog, Labradoodle, and Fromage. Language is filled with portmanteaus. Create a new portmanteau and explain why these two things are a perfect match, right? So basically, portmanteaus are, kind of creating a new word with existing words. And so how do you approach such an essay, right? This is not something. So the thing to remember with these kind of essay prompts, really quirky ones, is there are no right or wrong answers. Okay, There are, it is, it is how you kind of answer the prompt, how you kind of, answer the prompt, and how you kind of convince the reader that this essay, this story that I'm telling is the right, right topic for this particular prompt. So basically, you have to really think out of the box, and you have to be a little bit unconventional in how you approach. You have to be creative in how you write the essay. Okay. In the same vein, if you see the top row, the black box, write a short thank you note to someone you have not yet thanked and would like to acknowledge. This is from UPenn, from last cycle. Then the left one, the brown one, brown students care deeply about their work and the world around them. Students find contentment, satisfaction, and meaning. Tell us about something that brings you joy. Now, is there a right or wrong answer? There's no right or wrong answer, right? You can write absolutely anything, but you have to be able to convince why what you're writing is the right story for that prompt. If you're able to do that, then you're sorted. I mean, it's easy to write these prompts as long as you're thinking out of the box and you're being creative. Okay. So I think the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So I'll stop here, and Alisha will take over about the UK, Canada, and India essays. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, and Alisha and I will address those questions at the end of the session. Okay.
Thank you so much, Viji. And hi, everyone. I will be discussing the UK personal statement, which is actually very different from the US Common App, which asks you to be reflective. UK essentially wants to know why you are interested in studying at the course. So some technical points, it's 4,000 characters, which is approximately 600 words. It's 47 lines. Your UCAS essay actually goes to 5 different colleges. So you don't make this essay college specific, you make it major specific. Why are you applying for this course, right? So that is 70% of the essay, and then 30% are your skills, how you demonstrate that you have shown interest in this course throughout your lifetime. So, we say the introduction is really is the hook, where you can, give them a story, tell them who you are, but once again, relating it to the prompt, or relating it to your major, that's very important. Why are you pursuing this course? Being very authentic and being very original about why. So for example, I've had students write about, the story being that they started, business students who've started lemonade stands when they were young. And that was their first foray into the business world, understanding their net margins, understanding how much profit they'd make, depending on how much they bought the lemons for. It was a very simple story, but it really conveyed that they've been interested in business for a long time. And that story itself showed you, it just gave you a glimpse into who they were, which was innocent and sweet and really very deeply interested in business. Then you go on to what you have done academically. So this includes things that you have done in the classroom and, of course, what you have done outside. So anything that you have done, including reading books, being very excited about a theory that you read about, working with professors on a certain research project, or doing your own research outside the classroom, all of this comes here. But it's about showing your intellectual prowess as well, making sure that they know you're intellectually curious about this course and the subject. Then you go on to what your interests are, what your extracurricular activities are. Now, in this place, we again say, if it is not related to your course, then you must not mention it. But we have had students who've had very unique extracurriculars, and they've wanted to talk about it. So we had a student write about, they were a Taekwondo black belt, and that was really meaningful to them, but they were applying for mechanical engineering. How do you connect these two? He said that, when I was practicing a certain kick, I actually thought about the angle, the force, the momentum, and I was thinking of my body as a machine. That very easily fit into this personal statement then, because it showed how deeply interested he was in mechanical engineering, even when he was doing something that seems disconnected, like Taekwondo. So, find the connections, find ways in which you can show them that you have always been interested in the course. And then, of course, you go on to your work experience, your internships that you have done, and what strengths you've gotten from this. So, if you've done a marketing internship, what did you learn? Did you develop a more analytical mindset? Did you develop creative, posters? What skills did you develop through that internship, which again should be related to the course. And then, of course, the conclusion, you should be able to summarize your strengths, say why you are, how you've demonstrated interest in this course and why you are aligned with this course, and therefore why, you should study in a UK institution. Over here, you can mention, why the UK is important and meaningful to you. But of course, please do not say things like, I love London, I've been to Hyde Park. Make it again specific to the course, and therefore why UK is one of, the best places to study. And on that same line of, don't use these cliched, overused sentences like, I come from a family of businessmen, therefore I want to pursue business. No, find that authentic story. It can be as simple as, like I said, the lemonade stand, but being able to really show them why you are deeply interested in this course, that is very important. These are honestly some very overused sentences. So because this essay is so, deeply interested in the course, find ways in which, you can be smart about the language you're using. Therefore, sentences like this, honestly, overused, very cliched. Always, and, we always say this, stories are the easiest thing to remember. And your introduction is one of those points where you can put in the story in a personal statement. So I would encourage you, think of that one story, that aha moment, that really told you that, okay, I'm interested in this course and this is what I want to study at university. Yeah, these are all the overused sentences. So please stay clear from them. I'm going to go straight into Canada, which is honestly a mix, I would say, of the personal statement and even some of the US supplementary essays that Vijay was discussing, right? So depending on where you're applying, there can be 1 to 6 essays. The word count can be anything from 100 to 350. And again, the focus is, yes, on your character and also your extracurricular and your major. So let's look at some prompts. The University of Toronto says, what draws you to Victoria College and how do you plan to contribute to the community and learning at the college? Please also include your academic goals and aspirations. Again, as Vijay said, when you are talking about a community, it is very much your participation in that community. What have you done to contribute to that community? What have you gained from that community? What lessons? And then, of course, it's a combination of also seeing how you can contribute to their college community. So doing the research, really being, like Vijay saying, even applying to alumni newsletters, seeing their social media. There is so much information out there that can really show the colleges that you've done that research and you can really apply those and leverage that information for your essays as well. Yeah. For UBC as well, it's tell us about who you are. How would your family, friends, and or members of your community describe you? If possible, please include something about yourself that you are most proud of and why. So this again is asking you to reflect, is asking you to reflect on how you are perceived by the community around you, what you have brought to the community in terms of your skills, your strengths, and then, of course, talking about something that you are really proud of, understanding your character through something that is really important to you. Again, similar question again, what is important to you and why? They want to see, and you can always check, what are the values of the college? Are they looking for people who are peacemakers? Are they looking for people who are change makers? Are they looking for leaders? Align your values to what the college is expecting from their students. So when you are thinking about these questions, do your research initially and then align what is important to you to also what the college is saying is important to them. next is India. So India, the liberal arts essays are actually, I would say, quite different from everything we've discussed so far. So if we just look at Ashoka, it says, this was last year's prompt. It says, describe a social issue that has local and or global impact, which is of concern to you. What are the different viewpoints of different points of view that your research on this issue has revealed? What is your personal view and how do you intend to contribute towards the resolution of this issue? Now they are asking you to do your research into that issue. Yeah, this is also very telling of the interviews that you do, the on the spot essay. You should have a grasp of the current affairs in our country and around the world. It is very important to them doing the research. So for example, I had a student last year write about an issue of concern to him, which was, how senior citizens are not really they don't really have a place in society, once they retire and once they're old. Um, and then he did research into why this is happening, how nursing homes are on the rise, how nuclear families are developing more and more in India. And then his personal relationship to this issue was actually key. And he spoke about how he's so close to his grandparents and how, he was helping his grandparents order groceries and how he understood that, digital literacy for them was such an issue because they were not, mobile phones and stuff like that are so much made for younger people and the younger generation, and the older people are completely left out. So his personal relationship to this issue was actually the most important part. Having telling us why this issue is meaningful to you, that is very important. And then secondly, how you intend to contribute to this issue. So he researched and he found that, Ratan Tata had actually invested in a company where they were, making college students actually do a service program where they were working with senior citizens just for, I think, 3 or 4 hours a week, where they ordered groceries for them, they took them out, they just honestly had a relationship with them and allowed them to talk. And one of the key things that he found in his research also, that loneliness was on high. So he said that he wanted to then bring this service project to Ashoka. So it clearly told us why the issue, of course, the issue at hand, the research he had done, why it was meaningful to him, and how we actually had tangible things to contribute towards. Similarly, the second question is, share an important experience or conversation which has significantly shaped you and your perspectives on life. Provide relevant details to help us understand you better. Again, quite similar to what is important to you and why, talking about a conversation or something that resonated with you, that also shows them your perspective on life. So I had a student write about a very simple quote that perhaps, you know, could be seen as cliche, but they authentically really said why it was important to them at that moment. And that quote was, "This too shall pass." But they spoke about why it was so important to them at that moment, because they were dealing with so much stress and anxiety. So again, authentically conveying why things are important to you, and also showing them a part of your personality that is not seen, through your academic achievements or your extracurriculars. Kriya University, again, what is your personal story, and how would studying at Kriya help you become the person you want to be? So, of course, telling them your extracurriculars, your interests, your hobbies, but then how can Kriya help you with that? So, again, doing research into the college. What are they offering? What is the course you're applying for? What is that offering? What extracurricular activities do they have? So this is, I would say, an amalgamation of all the essays that we've been talking about. And of course, especially for Ashoka and other Indian liberal arts, don't over-edit your essays. The reason being, there is an on-the-spot essay which, they can gauge completely if that was your writing or not. And some of the on-the-spot essays, have been, is art vandalism, or is graffiti art or vandalism? right? So again, they want to know your perspective on things. They want to see that you've researched these topics, that you have an opinion, post your research. So that is very important. Other prompts have been as abstract as three little pigs, ... So definitely don't over edit your essays, because your on the spot essays are very telling. And of course you will have an interview. So I would say for Indian liberal arts, definitely do your research, not just in the colleges and the courses, but current and global affairs as well. Read the newspaper, guys, it's important. And just to summarize all the do's, right? So having a clear narrative, staying clear of complex sentences, making sure that your language is concise, it's to the point, having a narrative, especially for essays like the personal statement, where there is a structure in place, is very important. A clear narrative is even more important in a Common App essay, where you have an anchor story, but it can go all over the place. So develop a narrative first. That's very important. Practice writing. This is crucial, because just like everything else, writing is a muscle. You have to be able to use it. You have to keep developing it. And therefore, keeping a journal, a blog, even I would say voice notes, developing your perspective, understanding where you stand on issues, that is also important. Say more by saying less. Again, very important. We have this saying in the Red Pen, which is show, don't tell. This, I think, summarizes the do's and the don'ts, which is, don't tell us you're empathetic. Show us you're empathetic. Give us an example. If you are saying, I love my dog and he really made me empathetic, can you talk about the point where, when you felt alone in this world and your dog actually came and gave you comfort in a moment of silence and solitude? That shows us your connection with your dog, rather than you telling us that. When you say that, even in the pouring rain, you took your dog down, we see that you're empathetic, you love your dog. So always show us, don't tell us. Yeah. And of course, certain examples like these, which is speak in active voice over passive, you are the subject. So for example, don't do this. Strong leadership is a paramount to the success of any collection of individuals. I believe I have those qualities evident through my internship work. No, you are the subject. So how can you phrase this better? I interned at a think tank over the summer and was awarded recognition for successfully leading a team of 5 interns into project completion ahead of schedule. This again tells us so much more through this simple anecdote, that you were recognized for your contributions, that you were able to efficiently lead a team into project completion, and of course you did it ahead of time, so you're extremely efficient. Review your work to see where a phrase can be substituted by a simple word. This is very important. Be smart about your character count. I could not and still can't believe that this is all jargon. Instead, use the one word, I was astounded. Yeah. The don'ts. Yeah. So again, don't drive yourself up the wall trying to write the best opening statement. Okay. First, write your first draft. It is always easy to edit rather than not have enough content. So keep writing, develop that, then get your narrative, your structure in place, and then be smart about your words, and let your story be the anchor of that entire essay. So again, avoiding jargon, your own voice is original and interesting to the AO. So, be the more you write, the more you can develop your own voice. And that is honestly the key part of any essays. Don't plagiarize or copy. Trust me, it is very evident. AOs read even more essays than us, but it is evident to us now as well as content specialists. We can tell when you are using AI. We can tell because your voice doesn't come through. So it's very important to develop that voice and be authentic about what you're saying. Don't be general in your observations, right? Direct them inward. So for example, don't do, medicine is a noble cause and I've been inspired by my brother's journey through the vocation. Instead, talk about yourself. When I saw how medics treated the survivors of the blast, an emotional trigger rung through me. Their compassion and clarity of purpose urged me to take action as I stood up and volunteered myself. Yeah. Similarly, don't state, imply. So I have been passionate about engineering since I was a child. We'd already discussed this before. These are one of the most overused cliched sentences. You're just telling us that you're passionate. How can you show it instead? Since dismantling my first toys at an early age, I have been compelled to discover how objects work. Over here, we can see that you have a scientific brain, that you're inquisitive, that you're curious. It tells us so much more just through this simple anecdote. So with that, we are open to questions. This is what we do at TRP. Yeah, so we brainstorm your ideas, your theme, really look at, showing, not telling, highlighting your characteristics and your values. What are the most important things that you want to show an AO? And then, of course, we give you feedback. And Vijay, I think, can take you through this.
Yeah, a quick look at the last two slides, which is so Alisha and I have been speaking a lot about reflective writing. It's not enough to just narrate the facts, but also to reflect on how that whatever incident or memory or whatever that you're talking about, how it's had an effect or impact on you as a person, or how it has helped you grow. We'll just quickly look at two examples. If you look at this, now it says Diwali is my favorite festival. It is known as a festival of lights. On Diwali, people like to dress up, spend time with their families and loved ones, celebrate with sweets and colorful rangoli, and also help less fortunate people in their communities. My family too celebrates Diwali with splendor, and I can't wait to celebrate it with them once again. Now, technically, nothing wrong with this paragraph. It's an absolutely fine set of sentences which describes Diwali. But do you think it's personal? Does anything about what what the kind of the writer is going through, what Diwali actually means to them, what are the emotional connects, what are the family moments that they have had, during these festivals, how does the family come together? It is just describing Diwali and, all the stuff, all the things around Diwali, which we kind of know, right? It tells me nothing about the person who's writing it, right? What does it mean? What do family bonds mean to them? What does Diwali mean to them? Is it about the sweets, about coming together, eating together? Is it about sharing of moments? And what is it? Is it a time when the entire family comes together? Has it helped to forge bonds, deep emotional connect with family members? Okay, so this is not a piece of reflective writing. This is descriptive writing. Okay, so mostly for US, to an extent, even for UK, India, Canada, you need to reflect. Okay, next slide. Now let's read this. Growing up in a Marwari family, I was constantly reminded of the importance of traditions in binding families together. Whether it is a stringent dietary regimen or our vibrant festivals, tradition has been the cornerstone of my upbringing. Living in a large joint family has made me learn how to adjust to people and situations. This has molded me into a better classmate in school, a better teammate in sports, and a better leader in the volunteer teaching initiative I founded last year. Brilliant, right? It's not just speaking about how family traditions are important, and it's speaking about how it has not only brought this writer's family together or bonded the joint family even closer, but it has also gone one step further, which is something that we've been talking about for the last hour or so, that go a step further and mention how those moments and those bonds have helped them to do something more for maybe for their community, for their school community, or maybe for their sports community or whatever, right? And has helped them to contribute to their community. So this is a very good example of reflective writing, descriptive writing, plus reflecting on what you have learned or taken away from that experience is reflective writing. So please remember that for US college essays, to an extent even for the other college essays, reflective writing is very, very important. Okay. Now, if anyone has any questions, I can't see any in the chat box, but if anyone has any questions, you can please put it in the chat in the Q&A. And we are happy to, Alisha and I are happy to address those questions. We have, I think, about 5 to 6 minutes. If you have absolutely any questions about either the US, UK, India colleges, college essays, Please do put it in the box and we'll be happy to address those. Okay, so there's one question from Ritva, which is the American Indian identity essay overdone? No, not really. No. See, many students write about their identity. Okay, the identity essay, in fact, is a very important essay, and there's a Common App prompt for it also. The important thing is what is it that you're writing, or what is it that you're trying to show through that essay. Okay, if you're just going to say that I am a that I'm just a I'm say an Indian American and I have these various experiences, and you stop short of going further, then yes, then it doesn't work. But if you speak about that, if you use some example from your growing up years to highlight how you have navigated your multiple identities, how what you have learned from that identity, or how it has kind of forced the kind of things that you're doing today, how it has contributed to the person that you are today, how it has helped you to grow, by all means, you can go ahead and write about your identity. Okay, that is an important part of you. So you can by all means write about that. Anything about a Korean university? Unfortunately, Alisha and I would not be able to answer that. But we are. I don't know if we have the expertise in that, but we are happy to. You can always write to us and connect with us, and we'll try to answer your questions. Our consultants will get in touch with you, and they will help you to kind of uh, address this. Um, We have a couple more minutes. If anyone has any other questions with regard to these essays, we're happy to answer them.
Any more questions about any of the countries we've spoken about? Please feel free to put in the question box.
One advice we do have is if you're applying for fall 2025, please if you're not yet started your Common App essay, please do start it, because earlier you start, even though your deadlines may be in November, but the earlier you start your Common App essay, it's better because you have time for 2-3 drafts if necessary, and you can get 1 or 2 people to review it, and then, and really take it to a good place. So starting early is definitely the key where essays are concerned. Um, and we always do advise the students to start as early as they can. Okay, so Nikhil wants to know, would you say having a teacher is better for refining your essay, or Chat GPT like everyone else? Chat GPT is at best to be used as a tool. And for essays, it's always better to show it to if you have written an essay with your authentic voice, it's always better to show it to a teacher or to a family member who knows you well, and get their feedback, because they know you, right? And they'll be able to kind of determine whether you're kind of showing the best side of you. ChatGPT is best avoided for reasons that Alisha had mentioned. It's not authentic and it is easily detected. And most of these universities have software which detects these. So please steer clear of ChatGPT for your college essays. That's very important. It's always better to go to your counselor, your teacher, external counselors, your family members.
In fact, I would say ChatGPT is, very much doing the telling and not showing, because they don't know your life story, they don't know your voice. So definitely do not use that. And I would also say, if you are showing your essay to someone that is close to you, show it to someone who has no context about you as well, so that your essay makes sense to them as well. Yeah, so definitely take two perspectives and stay clear from ChatGPT.
Okay, if you have no more questions, I think last, I think few seconds. Yeah, it's almost 7 p.m. So we'll close this webinar now, and just wanted to thank all of you for being here today, and a special thanks to Ms. Ankita for organizing this webinar for us. And we wish you, all of you students, all the very best on your college journey to college, and do reach out in case of any queries or anything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.